this test or any other test that we have done, or quizzes or whatever. You did the test though. You just wanted a blank copy to work in. No. Or you didn't do the test. Are you Josh? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. No pressure. It's 300. I'm fine. Is there anybody else here that didn't do the test? Okay. I'll give you a copy. What did you do instead? What did you blow us off for?
I was sick.
Oh, you're sick, huh? Sick. People aren't supposed to get sick. No excuse for that, right? You get sick. You know what? This is a nice example. You get to get sick, and then you have to do the work that you missed when you got sick.
Yeah, I was
every time.
I was emailing the night before, remember?
Yeah,
I woke up and
I'm dying. Yeah. So, all right. With this system, you really have to be real sick before you've missed, and if you're doing well. Okay. So that's what you do at work too.
Hey,
you miss
could we do number 9?
Could we do number 9 on this test? Yes. You mean you actually want to do something? All right, fine. She always does that. Always does that to me. Come on, Keith, quit bullshitting and do something. Okay, number 9. Okay. Let's do 9. 6 points. Huntley Company borrows on the last test, I assume. Borrows $50,000 to the bank by signing a 90-day, 7% interest-bearing note. Okay, here's what might have hung you up. Is that 7% for 3 months, or is that 7% a year? A year. Interest rates are always stated per year unless it says per month or something, right? I've never seen them stated for 3 months. Okay, right? It might be per month, certain amount. Okay, got it? Besides, 7% times 4 would be 28% in most states. That's illegal, right? Okay, at least theoretically illegal. All of those payday loans charge a lot more than that. Get away with it. Anyway, so what's the first thing we're going to do? Assume 30-day months. Prepare an entry on June 1st when the note was issued. What do you do, guys? What do we get? Cash. Debit cash 50, right? If you don't have this on your paper, you got to ask yourself, how did that happen to me? Credit what? Note payable. And here's the deal. And this is what I want to convince you guys of. If you relax and you work, you don't panic, you will get a lot done. And on the final, there's not going to be any panic because you got a 2-hour exam, 2 like this, right? 2 of these in 3 hours, huh? Can you do it? Yes, you can relax and do a problem, and then another one, and then another one. It builds your confidence. Find the problems you know how to do, which is good if you went and found the cash flow problem and did it first, right? Maybe. What do you have, bonds on this too? If you went and found the bond problem and you did it first, but not if you took forever on them, right? If you took a half hour doing each of those, well, I guess, I don't know, you got 40% or something. Even then, right? But that's not the way you want to do it. You got to get more done. Prepare any adjusting entries at June 30th. Okay, how much time has gone by? 1 month, right? June 1st? 1 month. So what would you do? It's $50,000 times what? What's the interest rate for a year? So that'd be what, 3,500? But it wasn't. It was only 1 month, right? All right. It wasn't a whole year. So what do we do? Whoops. Yeah, 1 month. That's right. 1/12. It would have been 3,000. Yeah, 3,500 a year. 1/12 of that. Is that right? How much is that?
292.
Oh, shoot! I screwed up my key. 292 should be it. How many have that? Uh-oh.
291.667.
Okay, we got 2 people got it. Only 1 person got it. I gave you 3 points. You guys, they're wrong, and then I let you get away with it. I looked at some answers and said, that looks right. Okay. How much interest expense for 1 month? 291 what? 60 something. So you say 292. And what should interest payable be? You guys are welcome. I gave you 3 points. Be careful. Okay. It'd be that, wouldn't it? 1 month.
Yeah.
What you guys did was you took 1/3 of a year. 3,500. Many of you did that, right? I gave you points for it. Okay. What would be 1/3 of a year? If it was 3 months, what would it be? 3/12, right? 1,167. A bunch of you did that. But it's only 1 month, right? 1 month at 7%. Is that right?
What? 90 days, 7% interest bearing note.
Yeah, 7% for a year. We never say for 90 days. Remember? You either say per month or you say per year. Do my own problem. Yeah. If you, all you've got is 7% for a year, it'd be 3,500 for a year. Otherwise, think of the interest rate they're paying. That'd be 28%, right? 7% every 3 months. Okay? So the whole interest for a year would be 3,500. So what would 1 month be? 1/12 of that. So 292. Sorry about that. Well, I'm not too sorry about it because I gave you a couple points, so you're welcome. Okay? So I gave you 3 points for doing it. Yeah.
What if you got the answer we marked wrong?
Oh, I should give you the points back. Yeah, you probably lost 3 points for that, or 2 or 3 or something. Yeah. So yeah. I'll check with the other class too. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, and then on the next one, when you pay it off, how much are you going to pay them? It's going to be the same 50,000, right? Times what? 7%. But now, how many months have gone by? 3. How much is that, you guys? What's 3 till 12, so 3,500. 1/4 of it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which should be 292 times 3, approximately. Is that right? Okay, that's it. Okay. So now, how much would you pay? You'd pay the 50,000 plus the 875, wouldn't you? Okay. Cash going out. 50,875. What are we going to have? Note payable go away. 50,000, don't you think? Now what? Ah, we still have the interest payable in the book. Should we get rid of it? Yeah. 292. And then what's the difference? What's the other 2 months? 584, is that what that is? 583. With the rounding. Okay. What would that be? The last 2 months interest expense. Okay. Did you get that? Did you get that? Not going to answer. Were you close on this? Don't went anywhere. Okay. Sorry about that. You guys are half a point, so when I make this stage, you get them. Okay, what else do you want to work?
We go over 10.
Yeah, you know, a whole bunch of you missed this. You're going to be so mad at yourself. Okay. The last one at least had some twists on a little bit. On number 10, though, what do? The number of shares of outstanding stock? How would you decide? Every time I issue a share, what do? Debit cash for whatever is paid for it. Credit common stock for its par value, or stated value. And credit additional paid-in capital for any excess. True, guys? So we do. All right. So how many times have we credited common stock there for $10? It's $10 par, right? How many times have you done a $10 credit to get $1,900,000 in the account? 1,900,000 divided by 10, isn't it? How much is that? 190,000. That's it. That's all you had to do. 190,000. Got it? Whoa. The number of shares of common stock outstanding was, well, you guys, it's 190 issued, and there's 5,000 treasury stock. How many are still out there? Yeah, so it's like this, right? We've got issued. By the way, we could do it like this. What are authorized? This is what I did in class. How many shares authorized? 5 million. How many shares issued? We just decided was what? 190,000. Wow, this is a new company with lots of room for future stock, right? Put a lot of shares in. How many are unissued? How many is that? 4,810. True? We don't really care too much about unissued. We care about issued, don't we? And then how many are outstanding, you guys? Treasury stock is how much? 5,000. So we issued 190, we bought back 5. How many are out there now? 185,000. $2,500. Is that true? Nothing to it, right? What's the total issue price? You're not going to believe this. You missed this. What's the total issue price? Well, what do? We debit cash or other assets for whatever it was issued for. We credit common stock and we credit additional paid-in capital on common stock, don't we? Huh. What's in common stock? $1,900,000. What's an additional paid-in capital? $820,000. What was it issued for? $2,720,000. What's in total paid-in capital? $2,720,000. All you have to do is copy the number down. Wow. See what I mean? These are blown points, aren't they? These are 2 each, weren't they? This was a gift problem. 10% of the exam. Kind of a gift. Whoa. The reason I don't put as many points on hard problems as I do on easy ones is I want you to get some points. No kidding. On a really hard one, I rarely put very many points on them. Just to differentiate A's from A minuses or B pluses. Right? That's what those are for. This stuff is what? Everybody ought to have this. Everybody ought to unanimously get this. So what happened to you, right? What happened to that chapter? How much the treasury stock cost? You guys, there's $200,000 in treasury stock. You can do this, right? Treasury stock, the dollar amount is $200,000. Right next to it, it says the number of shares is how much? 5,000 shares. Can you divide 5,000 to 200,000 and get $40 per share? Oh my! Lost that one. That's incredible too. Then the average issue price. Okay, you guys, what was the stock issued for? 2,720,000. How many shares were issued? 190,000. That includes the treasury stock, right? What's 190 divided into 2,720,000? So what we've got is total paid-in capital. It's 2,720,000. Issued shares is 190,000. What's 190 into 2,720,000? Is it $14.32? Now I'm getting nervous. Okay. Anyway, that's it, isn't it? 2 more points. How many of you have 10 on this, just so you don't feel bad? How many got all 10? 1. Now what do you think? Should you have 10 on this? Absolutely. This is crazy to lose these points on. What did you do? Panic. You panic. It's a choke, isn't it? Ever done an athletic event where everything you tried went wrong? Uh-huh. Ever had one where things just sort of fell in place? Uh-huh. Make the final that one, okay? Compensate for this. By the way, if you'd have been a little bit more ready, would you have nailed this one? The answer is yes. If you'd have known this stuff inside and out, then maybe a little fussy. I don't know where it goes. Where does your brain go, guys, when you're under pressure? Don't let it go away. Okay? Don't let it go away. So, I don't mean to, I'm not insulting you, right? I think you guys are really bright. I think you're really capable. I think you can handle pressure, too. Right? I also think in K through 12, nobody ever put any pressure on you guys. The vast majority. We do get some kids in from really high-quality college prep schools, which I think are horrible, by the way. Right? Anybody do one of those places? And they usually do well, right? Because people just beat them up when they were a little kid. I don't like that. Out there watching my granddaughter's 5 years old play soccer this weekend. My grandson's 7 playing soccer. There are actually people yelling at their children for how they do playing soccer when they're 5. Are you kidding me? Really? My granddaughters and my grandson, everything they did was perfect. Is that true? Yes, because they're mine. Right? But of course not. You should have seen my granddaughter. She got 2 saves. We were so afraid. So afraid. The girls were premature, so she's this tall, about here. My grandson's about here, 2 years older. Anyway, she's about here. And they had legs that, well, they're about half my wrist, maybe. I'm not kidding. Little spindly things, and their arms are just really tiny, really tiny. A little bigger than my thumb. A little bigger. And just, I don't know what they weigh. she's wandering around kicking in the dirt, right? Because she likes having these soccer shoes because they have spikes on, right? So, plastic. And so she's kicking in the dirt, and dust is going everywhere, and they're running the ball around her, and she's just watching, this in the sky. We're yelling at her to pay attention. You're going to get run over, And this is the one that's youngest. She's 3 minutes younger or something, right? Last before. And so she had the most health problems actually too at birth, but they're both healthy. But anyway, so they put her in the goalie, right? We're like, oh my gosh, we're ahead 1-0. Doesn't matter. But anyway, we're ahead 1-0. And she's going to be the goalie. It's over. If they kick it to the goal, it's just she'll stand there and watch it go by. She got 2 saves and then dove for one that was going to just barely miss and knocked it off. Where did this kid come from? So see, you never know. She can't play soccer, but she's a great goalie. What do you think? She's 5, say 40 pounds or something. Yeah, 35 or something. So anyway, there's hope, right, guys? There's always hope. Yeah, that's the point of that story. So no, my point is that your children, when they're children, you want them not to have all kinds of pressure on them because you want them to grow up comfortable and everything. I agree with that. When you get to college, we're supposed to put pressure on you. So you can learn to put pressure on yourself because the world is going to do that. When you go to work, right? And I don't mean ridiculous pressure. It depends on the environment you want to go in. Go to work on Wall Street, you can go crazy if you want. Have all that pressure and all that money that goes with it. Okay? Varying careers.
Was the 1432 the...
2,720,000 divided by 190. Did it give you that number?
Yeah, was that the average issue price of common stock, or was that C, the total sales price of common stock?
No, that's E. That's E. The total sales price is 2,720,000, right? The total sales price of all of it was 2,720,000, and then if you divide the 190,000 shares into that were issued, you've got what the average one was issued for. So some were issued for $10, some for 15, some for 20. You got the idea? Yes. You guys are just stuck on this test. All right. All right. This was a little tougher. This one's a little bit tougher. You have to make a journal entry to get the changes, right? But you know what was kind of nice about this is a number of you knew the total stockholders' equity would not change with one of these dividends, right? Or the stock dividend. And you left the 980 even if you missed the rest of the stuff. So there's a 1.5 for knowing that, for realizing that. Okay, so what do we have? Do you have a big or a small dividend if it's 4%? That's small, right? Less than 20% is small? 20 to 25, right guys? So this is a small one. So we're going to record it at what? Par or market value? Market value. You guys are sitting out there not formulating answers on this stuff because you're not as well prepared on this as you were on chapters 1 through 4. Am I right? About where you were on 5 to 9. You guys got to gear it up. You got a week though. You can fill in all those pieces. You can know this stuff, right? Okay? So anyway, what we've got is a small dividend. It's going to be recorded at $14 a share, isn't it? What are we going to do for the journal entry? And we know what the balances are now. We're just going to look at what we change them to, right? What's the journal entry going to be? It's a dividend, you guys. What do you debit? Retained earnings. We're giving them stock instead of cash. What are you going to credit? Stock. What's it going to be? Common stock. And because we're doing it at market value instead of par, because it's a small one, right? If it's a large one, we do it at par, wouldn't we? Okay, remember that stuff? So what would this be? Additional paid-in capital on common stock. You guys agree with that? Huh? Okay. So it's just how much? What's it going to be? How many shares are there? There's $500,000 at $10 par. What is it, you guys? It's like 5,000 shares to me, or 50,000 shares to me, right? 500,000 divided by 10, 50,000 shares. And how much of a dividend are we going to do? 4%. How many shares is that? 2,000? Everybody agree? That's the dividend. This is outstanding, right? This is the size of the dividend, okay? We got a 2,000 share dividend then, don't we? And we're going to record them at what? Market value, because it's a small stock dividend. How much is the market value? $14. What's 14 times 2,000? $28,000. True? So what's the total dividend? $28,000. What's the par of the stock? When you take 2,000 times the par to figure out how much we credit common stock for, what's the par, guys? $10. What's that going to be? 20,000, is it? Yeah. The credit to common stock, isn't it? How much additional paid in capital is there if it's $4 a share and there's 2,000 shares? 8,000? Yeah. Which of course makes your journal entry balance. There, you got it made now, you guys. Oh, so I didn't ask you to do the journal entry, I asked you to tell me what the balances are in the accounts. But so what, right? You make the journal entry, tell me what the balances are going to be in the accounts. By the way, what happened to total equity if you debit equity for 28 and you credit equity for 20 and you credit equity for 8? Nothing. So what's the ending balance in equity? Your answer. It's still going to be 980 because it was 980. You didn't change it, did you? Ah. What's the balance going to be in common stock? Oh, I don't know. Started at 500, didn't it? I added 28. What's it going to be now? Or I'm sorry, I added 20. What's it going to be now? 500 plus 20? 520? Oh my. What's additional paid in capital going to be? Let's see, additional paid in capital was how much? 180? How much did I just add to it? 8? 188, isn't it? Oh my. Retained earnings was 272. What'd you do to it? You debited it for 28. What's 270? Oh, I'm sorry. It was 300. And you debited it for 28, right? So I got retained earnings. 300 is in it. You debit it for 28. What do we have, everybody? 272. That's right, I got 272. Now, do those still add up to 980? Sure. How many of you got this? Ooh, why not? That was an easy one. What did you have to do, though? You had to know there had to be a journal entry, didn't you? And then you had to realize when you make journal entries, you change balances in accounts, right? Do you guys know that journal entries change balances in the accounts? Of course you do. Oh. So it's taking you one more step, and it went away. What else do you want to do? From this one or from the other one? 14 on this fifth. Sure. Now, I want people to watch the review sessions to come to the review session. So no, want it. No. You can work them and compare them to your friends and stuff like that. Okay. I'll be happy to tell you what the answers are in a review session. Sure. Just having the answers doesn't help. Because then you sit and you work towards the answer till you get it. And then I give it to you on a test, and guess what happens? You guys have math books, right, where they have the answers to all the odd numbered questions or even numbered questions. Did it help you look at the answer while you work the problem? Maybe a little bit while you're learning it, but you could have done that in a chapter, couldn't you? Right? Doesn't really help when you practice. So I'd rather not do that. Number 14. Okay, what do? Here's a balance sheet and income statement. You might have thought, boy, that's intimidating. You guys, you go after what you want for the formula. And these weren't tough ones. Average collection might have been, and average days might have been. The other ones are all real straightforward. Return on common stockholders' equity. What's the return the shareholders get? Net income, right? That's it, isn't it? Return on assets, you'd have to add back the interest, right, net of tax. But that's, yeah, net income belongs to the shareholders, doesn't it? Okay, and then what else? By the way, if it was common shareholders and there were preferred stock, you'd have to take away the preferred dividends. But we didn't have preferred stock, so that's nice of us. Okay, make it more complicated. What are you going to divide it by? What their average investment was, which is what? Average, what? Shareholders' equity. Yeah, okay. So what's the shareholders' equity? What's the average shareholders' equity here? What would you get? What, common stock plus retained earnings? Is all the equity there is, right? There's no additional paid in capital. It must be no par stock or something. So at the beginning of the year, what was the total equity? 145 plus 75, what's that? 220, is it? Everybody agree? You see that? Common stock and retained earnings? 145 and 75 is 220, right? Add what to it? The ending? 150 plus 110 is what? 260? Right? Divided by 2, and what do you get? Is that 240? So I'm going to take 240 here and divide it into the net income, huh? Sound good? What's the net income? 75,000 on the income statement. What's 75 divided by 240? 31.25%. Few people got it. Okay. Point for doing that. This is way at the end, they're only a point each, so if you didn't get to it, I understand that. Times interest earned. They're pretty easy though. Times interest earned, what's that? That's the net income plus the tax, income taxes, plus the interest. Because you know what? If I have a zero break even, right? Break even income, I'll pay no taxes. Taxes would be zero. Net income would be zero. My interest would still be the interest, and I would divide that by the interest, and it would be one time. If the company breaks even, they paid their interest once. Got it? That's it, isn't it? Okay? So you don't really have to even add those up. What's the interest? You see the interest expense there? 24,000. What's the income before taxes? 107. So what you could do is you could take the 75 net income if you want, add back the 32 tax, but of course that's going to be the 107. They already did that for you. But then you'll have to add the 24 interest. And you got it, guys. Add those three together. What is that anyway? What's 75 plus 32 is 107, plus 24 is what, 131? Did I do it right? Divided by 24, right? 5.46, something like that. Times. Wow. Okay. Now you may have felt like you didn't have enough time to get ready for ratios. Do you now? A week and 2 days, guys. Okay. Debt to total assets. Oh, that's not one of the author's ones. What do you think debt to total assets is? How about the debt over the total assets? Total debt divided by total assets. It says debt to assets. You didn't have to know anything to do this one, except what's debt and what's assets, I guess. What do they have for debt? And what do they have for... Oh, by the way, would you use an average or year-end? Just, it's balance sheet to balance sheet, right? What did I tell you guys? If you're comparing the income statement to income statement, just use the current year, right? Don't do an average. The beginning of the year, zero anyway. Average would be meaningless. Be half the year's income or something, right? So you just use year-end. If you're doing balance sheet to balance sheet, what's more important? More recent information or old? More recent, probably. More valuable, huh? So I use just the current year. When would I use an average? Like on this last one, or on the one before that, right? Here I used the average, didn't I? Why? Because I'm comparing the income statement to the balance sheet. Right, guys? Okay. That's kind of a shell shock today. Don't be that way. Dig in and go to work. Okay? Dig in and go to work. Make this happen. Okay? And it will. All right, anyway, so what's the total debt? What do you got? What did you do? You added up 35 accounts payable, 50 notes payable, short-term notes payable, and then you added up the bond payable of 80. Is that what you did? 155? 165. Okay. Then what did you do for total assets, seeing as it says 425 is the total assets? Let's use 425. What does that give you? 38.82%. That means 39% of our assets are financed with debt. What finances the other 61%? Yeah, I think so. I want you guys not to worry about how you're doing. I want you to worry about how much you know when you take the plunge, okay? That's it. You walk into that room knowing this stuff, and it'll show up on your paper, okay? You just fill in all the pieces. And if you weren't able to write down what you knew on this test or on the other two tests, right, fix it. Okay? Make sure you get down what you know. When you go to work, make sure you get credit for what you know by using it, huh? Okay, no matter what environment you're in. Anyway, do some more, huh? Asset test or quick ratio, what's that? Current ratio is what? Current assets divided by current liabilities. If I asked for that, what would you do? We're comparing balance sheet to balance sheet. Let's do that one first. Current ratio equals current assets divided by current liabilities. It is that obvious. It's the relationship between the current stuff and the current stuff, right? Current ratio. Which ones would be current assets, you guys? And I just use year end because I'm balance sheet to balance sheet, right? Which one's cash? Yes? 45. Marketable securities? Yes, that's trading securities available for sale short term and long term. Cash receivable? 40? Yes. Inventory? 150? Yes. So I guess it's everything but property, plant, and equipment. So what's 425 less 170? What are you giving my current assets? It's that I really done it, right? Take away the property, plant, and equipment from the total. How much is that? 250? Okay, good. Whoops, 255. That doesn't sound quite right. 255? Yeah. Okay. What's the current liabilities? Let's see, accounts payable, short-term notes payable, right? 85? Everybody agree? This is really strong. This is really high. But anyway, okay, it's fine if they want to do that. I think they have too much cash. Okay, they have more cash than accounts payable. Wow. Okay, anyway, what do you think here? I'd probably take some of that cash and pay off the short-term notes payable in fact. Okay, what is this? Depends on the interest rate. 255 divided by 85. I didn't ask for this, but I probably will on the test or anything. What's that going to be? 3, exactly. Okay. 3.0 to 1 is how you write that. Okay? Like that. That's the current ratio. Okay, so the asset test or quick ratio, what's that? It's the stuff that's either cash or close to cash divided by the same current liabilities. So it's my quick assets divided by same current liabilities. What's the current liabilities? 85. Convert that 255 into quick assets. What is not a quick asset here? Inventory. The other ones are. I can collect my receivables fairly quickly probably. My marketable securities I could sell. My cash is cash already, right? That's how we think about it. What if you have prepaids? Nah, I'm not going to include that as a quick asset. It's never going to be cash anyway, right? You got the idea? So it'd be 45 plus 20 plus 40 in this case, huh? How much is that? 105? Because we're leaving out the inventory, which is 150, right? So you just take the inventory away from the 255 less the 150, give me the 105 also, huh? So what's my asset test ratio? It's still strong. It's over 1. We like this to be about 1, at least 1. What is this?
1.235.
Okay. So I said 1.24 to 1. That's good. 1.235 it was. Excellent. Okay? So you write that. Good. Let's try another one. Let's do the price earnings ratio first, because that's one that's real straightforward. What's price earnings? It's the price, right? PE ratio is the market value, which is the price of the stock, right? Per share, divided by what? Earnings per share. Now, what made this a little harder is you had to calculate earnings per share, but that was not hard. What's the market value per share? It's just given to you, wasn't it? $2.60. Okay? And what's the earnings per share? What's the earnings, you guys? They made $75,000, didn't they? Oh, this wasn't hard. It's their net income, right? How many shares are there? That's 75 divided by 148. About 51 cents. Is that right?
It's 0.5067.
0.5067. You could keep that if you want, or you could just use the 51 cents. I don't care. Okay. So 0.51, right? Earnings per share. 51 cents, right? Divided into 260 gave me what? About 5.1 to 1, is it? price earnings ratio. You guys don't know why you missed these, right, so far? Unless you just ran out of time. Yeah.
Now how do I know when your ratio is, like, how will I know when it's not to 1?
Oh, it's to 1 if it's a ratio, right?
Oh, it's always.
Always is.
Okay.
Or it's a percentage.
Okay.
This one was a percentage, right?
Okay.
Okay, or it's a number of times.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's something like that. You know, usually if it says ratio, it's usually going to be 2-1. Yeah. But if you just wrote down the number, I'd take it. I'd assume that you knew it was to 1. Okay. We're just standardizing it, right? Instead of having dollar amounts. Okay. All right. All right, let's try average collection period. Now, average collection period and average days in inventory, what's really mean on here? What you have to do is figure out first what? These are the number of days that it takes to collect, the number of days in inventory. What would you have to do first? Probably get the turnover. I mean, they do give you a formula where you can do it directly, but a turnover would really be kind of helpful. Okay, so let's do an account receivable turnover. What is accounts receivable turnover, you guys? It's how big the sales are, so it'd be the net sales, right? What's that? Net credit sales, yeah, credit sales. But they just gave us sales, right? So I guess we have to use all of them with me. So you're right, though. 370,000. That's what that is. Okay. Divided by what? We're comparing the income statement of the balance sheet. What do you want to divide it by, guys? Average accounts receivable. So take the beginning plus the ending and divide by 2. What was the beginning receivable? 40. Oops, 30. Ending 40. What's the average? 35. So what's $35,000 into 370? What do you get, everybody? What's that? 370 divided by 35. 10.57. But that's times. That's how many times larger your sales are to your receivables. So theoretically, you're collecting 10.57 times. Now, to convert it into days, what would you do? Yeah, take 365 days, divide it by 10.57, what do you get? The number of days, about 30 days, 34 and a half days. No kidding. That's all you had to do. Do exactly the same thing for the inventory, but what's inventory turnover going to be, guys? It's how big what is? Cost of goods sold, because don't you debit cost of goods sold and credit inventory? Divided by the average inventory. What's cost of goods sold in this problem? 192? What's the average inventory? The beginning inventory is 170, the ending is 150. What's the average? 160. What's that? What's 192 divided by 160? Somebody got it? 1.2? It's 1.2 times. This is going to be a lot of days, isn't it, guys? Take 365 days and divide it by 1.2 times. And what do you get? 304.2 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. See you guys. Work, keep your heads up, keep pounding on it. If you're really mad at me and that makes you work harder, good. If your feelings are hurt and you work harder, good. Right? Whatever makes you work harder. I don't know. Are we doing a review session today, guys? Is it us? 3 o'clock today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's coming? Yes. Couple? Good. Fantastic. In here. Yeah. We'll record it. Folks can watch it, you know, at their leisure while they're getting ready. I'm really mad at you. That's the problem. You get it right.